It's 2021 and nobody has time for uncomfortable shoes. That's where Rothy's comes in.
I just love their comfy flats. They are the most comfortable.
They are so comfortable. I have the Mary Janes and I have my eye on their sneakers next.
Start summer off on the right foot with comfortable bestsellers like flats, loafers, and sneakers from Rothy's, with sandals in an array of colors to shoes made for exploring. Their newest styles have you covered.
Step up on your summer wardrobe with washable, sustainable, stylish shoes and bags from Rothy's. Head to rothys.com/OC to find your new warm weather favorites today. That's ROTHYS.com/OC.
Do you have any clue how many things you're actually subscribed to? I know I don't. Thankfully, there's Truebill.
Truebill is the new app that helps you identify and stop paying for subscriptions you don't need, want, or simply have forgotten about. It's so helpful. I think everyone could benefit from this.
Don't fall for subscription scams. Start canceling today at truebill.com/OC.
Welcome to the OC, bitches.
Welcome to the OC, bitches. Season 1, episode 19 today.
I'm so excited for this episode for a number of reasons. First of all, I feel like this is game day and I'm showing up for my favorite team in my team colors. So this is why I wore red. It's Valentine's Day. Mm-hmm. And this shirt says Cougars because I guess Julie's a cougar. I'm also wearing a pair of underwear that say MILF on it, just so you know.
That is amazing.
Somebody gave these to me during, I don't know why I still have them, but I opened up my drawer this morning.
What do you mean you don't know why you still have them? I mean, those you keep forever. Are you kidding? You're like the OG MILF.
Yes, so there's a lot to talk about, and there's some very long, epic stories about that word in this episode that we can get to.
Yeah.
So
the synopsis today for the episode 19 is that it's Valentine's Day, which means love's in the air for some. Seth and Summer take their relationship to the next level while Ryan questions if he can be with Marissa. Valentine's Day is to Kirsten as Chrismica is to Seth, and she's not happy when Sandy isn't as much on board with the holiday. Luke makes his interest in Julie known. Today, I am so excited because my favorite bachelorette of all time, my long-lost soul sister, Caitlin Bristow, is joining us today. Hi, Caitlin.
Yay.
Hi, Caitlin.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited. Melinda, I'm like fanning over you right now because I've met Rachel on like Zoom. And now I'm like, oh my gosh, because the OC was like my favorite show, as it was for everybody.
Well, it's such a pleasure to meet you. I actually was driving from Orange County, Dana Point, with my daughter yesterday, and she's a huge Bachelorette and Bachelor fan. And we listened to your podcast with Rachel on the way up, on the drive.
Yeah. Oh, fun. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you.
Yes. It was so nice of you to have me on it.
Oh my gosh, come back anytime. I told you. I'm like long lost sisters for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. We've already established that. And Caitlin today is one of our celebrity fans of the OC. So I really am. I mean, it's just so cool that you even know that the show exists. We're very flattered.
Oh my gosh. I'm not only did I watch it, I think I watched everything twice like back then, and now rewatching it, I'm like, I forgot how good it is. There's so much going on in like every episode. I'm like, it's so good.
Well, thanks.
It really is addicting.
It is. I'm like I restarted the whole thing again from the pilot, and I'm just like on the edge of my seat again.
Did you really? You restart? Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know, as I'm watching it, like there's so many things that I forgot about and I can't even believe they happened. I have to watch like a few episodes before the one we're recording because I'm like, well, what happened?
That's how I did. I watched the season 1, episode 19, and then I was like, wait a second. And I got all lost on like, I couldn't even remember like how Jimmy like, well, we might get into that, but like I couldn't remember who exactly he was, and then I had to go back, and then I was like, oh, I might as well just start at episode 1 because I'm in now.
We love that you're invested.
Very.
And also, congratulations on your engagement. I think it happened after I saw you. I just had to say that real quick.
Congrats.
Your ring is beautiful. Yeah,
yes.
she got engaged.
Oh my gosh, thank you. I did not see that one coming. He's so like he's really over the top, like extravagant and romantic, and like I thought it was going to be this big thing because we were going to Mexico. So I'm like, oh, surely he's gonna like get us horseback riding on a beach and like have everyone. But no, he did it on my podcast actually, and we weren't going to release the episode because he really was just doing it to have the audio and video footage so that we had it forever. And he was like, you don't have to release it. And I'm like, you kidding me? Can you imagine the downloads we're going to get on this?
Yeah.
So we did, but it was really, really sweet. So thank you for saying that.
Yeah. You're a smart girl. You're like, no. We're using this one for sure.
I mean, I overshare my life all the time anyways on like Instagram and my podcast. I tell everyone everything. So I'm like, it only makes sense.
Well, yeah, clearly.
Yeah.
Is that the secret to a successful podcast, to overshare? I think we're still so new in this, Rachel, that I think we need to just reveal a lot more secrets, right? Is that
That's people love the BTS. What you guys are doing is so smart because, I mean, who didn't love the show? And if nobody watched it, they could start now and still be like, wow, this show is incredible. And then they get to know all the BTS and like juicy secrets and certain things that went on behind the scenes. And then have people come on like that are fans asking questions. I love it. I think it's genius.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Well,
I wanted to ask you really quick though. So I have been obsessed with Dancing with the Stars, which started in 2002. It's been around for years. And I was just telling Rachel that I was offered Dancing with the Stars, I think maybe like the second or third season of the OC.
Yeah.
And I was like, how do I balance this show and do that? Because it's a huge time commitment, isn't it?
Oh my gosh. I don't know how, like I luckily could take that chunk of time off and like fully immerse myself in that experience, which I don't know how other people did it. Like Nelly was, like he's like blowing up again. He's having like his moment again with music and other actors and stuff. I was like, wait, how are you guys doing this? Some people would have to go in the middle of the night to rehearse, or other people would have to come to their house just to get it done because they were so busy. It's like 7 hours a day I'd be in the studio 7 days a week. You don't get a day off.
Yeah.
Wow.
Crazy.
That seems like a lot. And then I recently found out, that your partner and Misha's partner came on in season 4 to help me choreograph a Julie dance at a club where Caitlin catches her, and it was very dirty dancing. So tell him I said hi and thanks.
I watched that with him because we were talking about it one day. Like, I think I was actually talking about how much I love the show. And he was like, not saying anything, but one of his friends were like, Artem was on it. And I was like, what? And so they pulled up the clip and I watched it and Artem was like, oh my God. Like I was so like into it. And he was like dirty dancing and it was amazing. It was so funny to see him in that role with you, dirty dancing it up.
Fun. We'll have to have him on when we get to season 4, but because I grew up dancing, my mom was a ballerina and I loved dancing. I had a friend who was a professional ballroom dancer and we would just do it for fun. So when you have a great leader, it's so much fun. And I remember really enjoying that scene. Yeah. I used to write these scenes that were just so much fun for me.
You would have been so good on Dancing with the Stars. I was reading that about you because my mom was a professional ballerina when I was growing up too. And I loved dancing. And I feel like it was one of the hardest things I ever did, but also just like for somebody who loves to dance, it's just, I think that's easier for people to do than people who are just there for like, a paycheck or something, which I get, I respect. But if you're like love dancing and you have this history, I feel like it's so cool to be a part of that show. You definitely need to have Artem on.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you have to be so brave. I'd get stage fright, I think.
Come on. I always get mind blown by people who are actors and they get stage fright or like, it's so funny because you guys are just all like so natural on camera when you're acting. Is it more like because you have to be a character it's easier, and is it harder to be yourself in front of everybody? Is that what it is?
That's probably accurate, I would say, because I'm the same way. Like no attention.
Really?
I'm like, I can never have a wedding because I don't want people looking at me like when I walk down an aisle. Like that's always been my mentality.
Funny.
Oh my gosh! So I choreographed a dance for my wedding and forgot the steps. So yeah, I'm an actor, but for some reason, dancing in front of people, and I grew up dancing, doing, dance
That's
recitals
really
and
funny.
such. But for some reason, as you get older, it's a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, and Caitlin's dedication paid off because she won the mirror ball for
amazing.
hello.
I did. It's probably like my biggest accomplishment, I feel like, just because of the
amazing.
amount of work that I put into that. I was like, thank God I had nothing. Like, that was like the perfect chunk of time. It was also during the pandemic and COVID. So I had time off. So it was so cool to be able to really just focus on that and then win it, because I was like, wow, I've never worked for something so hard in my life.
And I have to admit to you, I wasn't watching the whole show, but I would every week, I had it recorded, so I would just watch your routine.
That's amazing.
I was so excited for you, and I was like, Caitlin's going to win this thing. Like, there's no chance she doesn't.
gosh.
And I would just watch your your routines.
That's so funny. Yeah, I truly felt like, it's weird to say, but I felt like I deserved to win. But I know everyone else worked so hard, but I really felt like there was such history for me, because I was supposed to go on the show 5 years ago and I was told no. So to come back and have that moment and then win. Yeah. But also I really didn't think I was going to, because Hannah Brown, who was the Bachelorette a couple seasons ago, she had just won Dancing with the Stars the season before me. So I'm like,
right.
There's no chance they would allow two Bachelorettes to win back to back. And so I just thought it was going to be like a TV thing where they're like, oh, lost by a couple votes. But I was like, oh my gosh, I really did win.
Yeah. And it shows you that the votes, they really do go by the votes,
really,
right?
Yeah,
because I know what you're saying.
Really
you're like, yeah, 2 Bachelorettes in a row, but you deserved it and you won it.
Thank you.
Fucking awesome.
Thank you.
We could talk about Bachelorette and Dancing with the Stars all day. We should
But-
probably talk about the OC a little bit.
Absolutely. I have so many questions.
Oh, well, we would love to hear your questions, and the fact that you have them is very, very cool.
I have so many weird ones. I feel like they probably I feel like people probably ask the same questions all the time. So I apologize if I'm you're like, oh, here we go again.
No, ask away.
Okay. Do I just start?
Yeah. I say go for it.
Okay. First of all, I always like to know if the houses are real or if that was a set.
So the pilot, it was real, but then they recreated it, and a lot of everything was sets, right? Every house was a set, Mindy? Am I right?
Yes. Everything was established. You can actually go online and see pictures of the real Cohen house. And the differences between it and the set and the actual house, but it was recreated on stage. And
oh, cool.
Julie Cooper's house was the same house as the Cohen house, but they would shoot it from a different angle based on the real 2 houses that were established in the pilot.
Okay, so when you came out and waved at her, and this is in I can't remember what
episode.
I can't remember if it was, I don't can't remember if it was episode 19 or the pilot that I was watching, because now I'm all
the Froyo line
invested. But when you came out and waved and he didn't get, the Froyo.
That's a real home in Malibu, next door to the Cohen home in Malibu.
Okay. And why was Jimmy, who was he to the Cooper, to
Kirsten?
Yeah, to Kirsten. Why did they
used
almost
to
get
date.
married?
They grew up together and they used to date.
Oh,
and they may have had a pregnancy scare. There's some
Kirsten and
there's
Jimmy?
a lot of history there. Yeah.
Right.
Okay,
A lot of history
I can't wait
there.
to watch this all again.
Yeah.
Okay.
When I don't feel like cooking and I'm saving my takeout for the weekends, HelloFresh is the answer.
With HelloFresh, you get fresh, pre-measured ingredients and mouth-watering seasonal recipes delivered right to your door. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit.
HelloFresh's family-friendly menu is a big win for the back-to-school season with easy, delicious recipes for drama-free dinners. I am very, very excited. My daughter's starting school soon, and this is going to make my life so much easier. I'm really looking forward to their orchard chicken salad.
Yeah. And salmon in a creamy Dijon chive sauce, or Greek goddess bulgur bowls, honey miso broccoli donburi. I love their names. These are just a few of my favorites, and my family loves it too. And in fact, I sent my daughter in college HelloFresh recently, and she loves it.
And can you believe it's almost fall? Something to look forward to for this season are recipes like pumpkin cinnamon rolls and Friendsgiving ready sides, as well as fresh, high-quality ingredients that travel from the farm to your front door in less than a week.
Go to HelloFresh.com/OC14 and use code OC14 for up to 14 free meals, including free shipping. That's HelloFresh.com/OC14 and use code OC14 for up to 14 free meals, including free shipping. HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit.
Let's talk shoes. One of my favorite items to shop for, and one of my new favorite pairs, comes from Rothy's.
What makes Rothy's so good? Their unique seamless design is insanely comfortable the moment you put them on.
I mean, I'm always on my feet, running after my kid, cooking for my kid, everything for my kid, I'm on my feet. And these shoes make my life so much easier. They are so comfortable.
And yes, I'll admit, I have ultra sensitive feet as they've gotten a little bit wider. And Rothy's really work for me. I never thought that I'd be able to wear cute ballet flats ever again, but with Rothy's, I can.
Start summer off on the right foot with comfortable bestsellers like flats, loafers, and sneakers from Rothy's. With sandals in an array of colors to shoes made for exploring, their newest styles have you covered. Plus, their spacious washable bags are perfect for summer getaways.
And their shoes are not just for women. Rothy's newly launched men's shoes are intentionally designed with an artisanal level of detail and created with nearly zero waste. They're durable, washable, and better for the planet. Plus, rigorous testing during R&D results in a perfect fit wash after wash.
Step up your summer wardrobe with washable, sustainable, stylish shoes and bags from Rothy's. Head to rothys.com/OC to find your new warm weather favorites today. That's ROTHYS.com/OC.
Rachel, I have to tell you, because my mom used to get so mad at me because I loved the saying ass face after you said that. And it was so funny that that's the episode I got to watch back, because I was like, oh my gosh, so many things stand out in this episode. I always used to call people an ass face after that. And my mom gets so mad at me. Like, she could probably still say to this day that that was my favorite thing to call people when I was like,
it's a good name. I mean, it should be used
really
more
just
often.
drives it home, you know, like it
sorry,
really
Mom.
like, yeah, sorry, Mom, but
Sorry,
ass
Mama
face
Bristow.
is so good. Also, if I was home, I was going to wear that iconic purple sweatsuit. I have pretty much the same one in my closet that's coming back in style now.
Oh yeah, the juicy suit.
Yes. And it's it's back. And this was my next question. So when you take off your clothes, how old were you at that time?
The season 1, I was 21.
Okay.
Probably. Yeah. 21 or 22.
Do you guys have little nip covers or
You know what's funny is the scene where Seth and Summer have sex and it's the shot above looking down. Yeah. When I get out of bed, I saw it. You could see my bandeau, like a bandeau top over my boobs. You could see the back of it. I caught it and I was like, oh, I hope no one else sees that. Yeah. So I wasn't naked. Even though Adam was my boyfriend at the time, I still was not naked. But they would use pasties or which just cover your nipples essentially, everybody.
I mean, he looked fully naked though, because when you rolled out of that bed.
He just rolled. Okay. No, I'm just kidding. He wasn't.
There's a special sock.
That's Oh, is there really
a man sock? I don't know what Adam had on. Maybe he had something covering it, not just a pillow that he took.
He's so funny in that show. Also, when people, I just thought of this now, on all shows when people just have sex and then they roll out of bed, they always do it so casually with throwing that sheet around them and then they just get out of bed like that's what everybody does after sex.
Right.
I'd be tripping everywhere and trying to gather up the sheets and just whew, let's go.
For sure. I'm a big fan of always playing to the, natural or organic. So for sure, the awkward, it's never as sexy or glamorous or whatever as they portray it on TV.
And not when you have 50 crew members all standing around sometimes they reduce the amount of crew members for
a
intimate
closed
scenes.
Set.
Really?
Yeah.
And now it's even more, there's an intimacy coach on set.
What?
It's a new position of a crew
literally
member.
and figuratively.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. That's interesting. And I was just watching The Bachelorette on Monday and they had a cuddle coach.
What?
And I was like, where do these people go to school for this?
What is a cuddle coach?
She coaches you through the proper techniques of cuddling and
spooning,
positions.
sporking.
Oh my gosh, that sounds as awkward as the foreplay of Seth and Summer in this episode.
What do you mean?
He's blowing in your ear.
That's so awkward.
And you guys were dating at that time. What happens when you get in a fight, and then do you guys like make up easily? Because if you're in an argument, all of a sudden you have to act all cute and romantic. Does that like help, or were you like, I don't want to make out with him right now?
Oh gosh, I can't remember. I'm sure I was always. Nah, I don't remember Adam and I fighting that much. That could just be my memory and like being delusional, but. There were a couple times. There were a couple times. Like I found a card recently where he was like apologizing for like an unoriginal birthday gift, and then for like fucking
Was it
up
Penny,
a birthday
the dog?
gift. Oh yeah, he got me a dog one birthday. It was a pit bull that I didn't pick out, and he named it and like showed up and was like, "Happy birthday!" And I was like, can we do a do-over?
In real life?
Yes, this was real life. No, this was real life. Yeah, so there were things like that. So yeah, we fought. There were for sure fights. I don't remember how it like played out on set, but I'm sure there were times where I wasn't talking.
I bet you guys were extremely professional when you hear action. Everybody does that.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
Yeah, you must just go into a complete other world. Do you like to be called Mindy or Melinda? What I think I heard. Rachel
Either one. Mindy.
Okay.
Mindy's the nickname, and it's what my family and friends call me. And
I feel like I'm not there yet. I don't deserve to call you Mindy yet. So
I think people. It's a question that I would get on set all the time. Melinda is on the birth certificate, and it's what SAG has.
Yeah.
Once they get to know me, I know some people say you're Melinda, you always will be. Some people call me Mel. Some people call me Mindy Mo. That's what my dad called me.
Aww.
So I get a name. I get funny
you,
nicknames.
I'm going to call you Melinda for now until something else sticks for me. But who is that young kid in the episode that I watched? Luke, is that his name in the show?
Yeah.
Chris Carmack.
Yeah. Was that awkward for you guys, or was that like less of a age gap than they made it seem on the show?
It's way less of an age gap.
Okay.
I think I'm trying to remember if Chris was 25. Was 25 and I was 33, 34. So it's still a gap, but it's not. I don't think awkward isn't the word. There's always a little bit, but it was more. It's more that you're excited about the storyline, and we get to do this together. I think there's something when we choose to be actors, thespians. What it's to believe is brave. It's a brave things that most people would think are awkward. It really isn't. I mean, I guess it can be. I don't know.
I think it probably is for people who don't understand acting. Like for people who have never been in that position or done acting, it's the same way as like for The Bachelorette, like dating 30 men and making out with a bunch of guys night one is really weird to other people. But to us, they're like, well, we're trying to find a husband. Like that's normal. So it's probably for you. You have a way different mentality of like, I love that you said you're excited about the storyline because I like that you guys get excited about that stuff because it shows coming through the screen. Like it feels
absolutely.
real. Yeah.
But you make a really good point. Making out with that many men for how many months, or it could be is it just a month or a couple months?
It's a couple months.
That's really
fun.
Like, how do you do that? And then if you find your guy and he's dated all these people, you've got to be a really thick skin and not be one of those jealous. You probably haven't made it to the end if you're a super jealous person anyway, right? But to not.
Caitlin's like,
I think that's why a lot of relationships don't work in the Bachelor world is because watching that back, you think you're the only one, and then you watch it back and you're like, wait a sec, there were others. So yeah, it's all just the unique worlds we're living in. And acting to me, I just always like bow down to actors because I think it's so. I always wish I could act. There's no chance in hell I could.
I bet you could. You're so natural. Oh, you honestly, you're always like yourself and you're super comfortable just like being yourself, especially in front of the camera. I bet you could do it.
Well, maybe if they had a role that I could just be myself, I would be good at it. But if I had to be someone else, because you're so different from Summer, is there, like, Melinda, was your character true to who you kind of were, or is that a complete different person from you in real life?
Well, we finally got confirmation from my daughter, CG, on an episode. She joined us. And she said, nope, you're not like that. And then she went, well, you have your moments.
Really?
I think when you see the goofy, fun Julie as the show progresses,
yes.
I inserted a lot of my humor into that. So the misguided. I'm a very flawed human being, just like everybody on the planet.
Right.
But hopefully my priorities aren't what Julie's are, which is essentially money and power and appearance and, perceptions and all that. So she amplifies. She is the original housewife. We've said that many times. So she would do really well on The Housewives. I for one would not do well on The Housewives. I think I would end up curled up in a fetal position crying. Doing
so
reality.
Funny. Didn't the OC inspire Real Housewives of OC?
I think that's what they say, right? I don't know. Do we have confirmation on that, or is that just a rumor?
Yeah, you cannot confirm or deny.
Yeah.
But I heard that. And I also heard that Chad Michael Murray was supposed to be in the OC, but he did One Tree Hill. Do we know what role he would have played, or is that a rumor?
He was,
I
think he was offered, or he was up for the Ryan role, and he picked One Tree Hill.
Oh.
I think it was before Ben was even in the mix.
Oh, wow. I guess, did Patrick Rush, our casting director, must have said that, right? Anyway,
what was his last name?
Our casting director, Patrick Rush. Do you know him?
Remember. I was reading. No, I was just reading a couple rumors that I wanted to ask, and I don't remember who said it.
Anymore. Rumors are always fun.
Wait, there was another rumor. This isn't anything juicy, but I love that they said that the line "Welcome to the OC, bitch" wasn't even supposed to be in there.
I don't know if we're both like
I'm like telling you guys rumors about the show.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask Josh Schwartz, the creator.
That's who said it.
Oh, well then that would be an accurate. That would be true if Josh said that.
I think he said it was kind of a last minute addition.
It wasn't like
but
in
it may
the first
not
script.
have been in the original script.
Oh, okay.
I got all excited when he said it when I watched yesterday because I was like, that's the podcast.
I know, our namesake.
I got emotional. I'm not even kidding. I was like laughing. I was crying. I was like, oh my God, this show. I was like, love Sandy so much. And Ryan is so mysterious. And Seth is so funny.
He is funny. Were you like more of a Ryan or a Seth?
Okay, so I was always more Ryan growing up, but now I'm way more Seth because I'm like, his humor is so funny. And you said on my podcast that that's the probably like closest person to like what they're like on screen and to real life. Because I was like, who's the most like their character?
Yeah, I would say, Adam Brody, he's such a funny guy. A lot of the music and everything else was really his influence. He's a lot cooler in real life than Seth. Like he's an avid surfer, but yeah, wouldn't you say, Mindy? Would you say that's probably accurate?
I believe so. I think, Adam a lot better than I do. I think Ben is way funnier in real life. I know Kelly said that he wasn't funny, but he's very funny.
Is he? Okay, I was wondering that because, gosh, he's so serious. And it's like anytime he's about to crack a smile, I'm like, come on. Because
he would crack a lot.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. I was going to ask if he's so serious in real life. I mean, do you guys all still keep in touch or is it like so far gone now? I mean, you guys obviously do.
Yeah, we obviously do. Yeah. Recently because of this, we've been reconnecting with people and, and it feels like no time has gone by, especially when they come on here and we're talking to them, which is so cool to know that we established that foundation back then where we all really were a family. So it's been fun. Like, I was texting with Ben recently and he's just the best and awesome and everyone is.
Yeah.
Catching up on the latest episode of our podcast can work up an appetite. Well, Grubhub's got you covered.
It's always there when you need it, whether you're too busy or too lazy or you need delivery on the game day. Grubhub is my first choice.
Grubhub is more than a delivery service. They work hard to serve both their customers and the restaurants they deliver from.
Grubhub knows that a restaurant's reputation matters, and they'll be damned if that reputation suffers because of them.
Grubhub has come to my rescue so many times when I'm at home and I realize that clock is ticking and I don't have dinner figured out. I use Grubhub.
Today, Grubhub's doing a little extra to serve Panera. Get a free delivery perk on your first order from Panera of $15 or more. Order through the Grubhub app or online.
Grubhub. We serve restaurants.
I have a lot of workout clothing, but Fiore is different. It's a new perspective on performance apparel. Perfect if you're sick and tired of traditional old workout gear.
Oh, yeah. For me, if I even have time to make it to, let's say, Pilates, and I can stay in these clothes all day, makes my life so much easier, and I'm so comfortable, and I feel like it looks really cute.
I mean, they literally are the softest joggers on the planet. I wear them to work out, to travel, and simply every day. And I also love their sports bras and the leggings. They're so well made and super cute.
Their clothing is designed to look great for everyday life, not just when you're working out. Head to the Vuori website and you'll be able to find everything you need from sports bras to leggings to hair accessories.
They've got clothing for women and men. I'm thinking about ordering my husband their core shorts, which will work for any and every activity he does.
Vuori is an investment in your happiness. For our listeners, they are offering 20% off your first purchase. Get yourself some of the most comfortable and versatile clothing on the planet at vuori.com/OC.
That's VUORI clothing.com/OC. Not only will you receive 20% off your first purchase, but enjoy free shipping on any U.S. orders over $75 and free returns. That's VUORI clothing.com/OC. Not only will you receive 20% off your first purchase, but enjoy free shipping on any U.S. orders over $75 and free returns. Go to vuori.com/OC and discover the versatility of Vuori clothing.
How often were you filming? Like every day, all day, certain months of the year? Because you probably become so close with everybody.
Yeah.
Very quickly, it's magnified. It's usually about a 9-month shoot, but because we did 27 episodes, we may have gone to 10 months. Or more.
Wow.
And
it's a lot of time
every
together.
Episode is,
And it's like every mood, every time of day, you know what I mean? So it's like immediate, like, oh, here we are. Like you get to see me rolling in at 5 a.m., no makeup, like no coffee yet. Just, you just see everybody.
Your true, authentic self.
Exactly. Yeah. You come with that right away. Right. And so you get close really quick. You spend a lot of time together, a lot of long hours.
You do very intimate scenes, and you rehearse together, and while they're lighting, you hang out. Oh, Rachel, remember when we used to watch Project Runway every chance that we got when we were shooting at the Roberts house?
I don't remember that, but I believe it.
Well, you're going to remember it by the time we get to that episode.
Oh.
So.
Did you guys both watch while it was airing?
I did.
Yeah. You did. We did. Like they had like some screeners for us. You know, they would like screen it, so we would all watch it. I think you said at lunch they did that. I remember that. I don't know if I've seen every episode, but we watched it a bit.
I think it's going to be the first season really, really sticks in my mind. I feel like, to be perfectly honest, it's going to be a little bit more of a challenge to remember things going into the third and fourth season. But
it'll be fun to get there though, for sure.
Okay, I have a few questions related to if you guys were on The Bachelorette.
Yes. Ooh, these are fun.
Okay, so but it's going to be your character.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So for both of you, as your character, what would you both have done out of the limo to The Bachelor?
Summer would have for sure been in a bikini because she didn't know how not to wear a bikini.
So true.
Oh, that's so good. What did you do out of the limo your first time? I'm trying to remember.
You don't want to know.
Oh, no, your joke. Yep, I remember. It was a good joke. It was like you put it out there. What do you mean? It was so good.
I truly didn't understand TV or editing or like.
Tell Mindy what you said.
What?
So the Bachelor that I went on, he was a farmer, and his name was Chris Stoltz. He was a farmer, and I grew up in a really small town, and like 2 of my ex-boyfriends were farmers from high school. Like I was like, oh my God, a farmer. And so I came out of the limo, and I have like a very weird sense of humor, and I'm like really offside like in my humor. And so I came out of the limo, and he was like, oh, it's so nice to meet you. And I was like, well, I don't know much about you. Like I know your name is Chris, and I know you're a farmer, so you can plow the fuck out of my field any day. And he was like, and I was like, Like, I just wanted him to know my humor right out of the gates.
I loved
He
it.
was just oh my God.
I loved
Was
it
it
so much.
It was plow the bleep? They did that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Bleep.
Yep.
And it was so funny because I thought they would edit that out because a producer had said to me like, oh, that probably won't make TV. And I was like, oh, okay, then I'll say it. It'll be funny. And then it was like on every promo and like every Good Morning America, Ellen, everyone was like, this girl's crazy. And I was like, oh
it.
no.
I loved it. I was like, that's my girl right there.
So did the producers guide you with things to do and suggestions, but ultimately it's up to you? How does that work?
That's pretty much exactly how it works. Like that was my joke. And then they were like, oh, you have to. And then like for other people, they would, like there's one guy that came in on my season in a cupcake. He like rode in on a motorized cupcake. And like, obviously that was not his idea, but he was like, okay, I'll do it. There's certain things where the producers will help you along the way. But
like Katie, the Bachelorette now, when she went on Matt's season, she walked out with a dildo. And I was like, yes.
yeah.
Oh my God.
But she said something. She was just like, this has been my friend. I don't know. Something about the pandemic and using it a lot, right?
Yes, exactly.
So my daughter was just telling me something about right now that a guy came out in a cat suit because she likes cats.
Yes.
So that made me think because I'm wearing my cougar.
Oh yeah.
I'm wearing my cougar shirt today because that's
it's
kind of the
appropriate
storyline
for-
of this episode. So she'd have to come out in kind of a I don't know, Julie.
You would be
perfect.
a cougar for sure. A cougar outfit that couldn't be more perfect. That is
Right.
so awesome.
And she's actually doing it to this soundtrack for Cats, which would not go over well.
Memories? Like what?
You're right. Memory.
You do like a little dance out of it.
You're gonna ballet like do what? Like
That's so funny. I actually got to do Broadway for a hot minute. Like a couple years ago, I got to host a show on Broadway for Christmas, and the Cats studio was right across. And every Saturday, all the cats come out of their window and yell, "It's Saturday night on Broadway" at like 7 p.m. And it's the weirdest thing. But if anybody ever goes to New York and Cats is back on, you have to go because they like ring bells and like yell, and all these cats are coming out of the window. That was just a really random story, but
no, but that's cool.
it was really cool. I can't remember. Were you a cougar for a lot of the season or just on this one episode?
Well, that term was just kind of coming about.
Right.
That and MILF. Those two words
MILF,
were
yes.
kind of right in that era. So
You were the originator.
yes. No,
You're the OG.
she has a line where she says to Kirsten, "Men are to me the way Chardonnay is to you, Kirsten." Meaning she had the drinking problem and Julie had the man problem. So
Right. That's so funny.
It was
oh my
so
God.
good.
So she's definitely was that. That was always a little awkward because Julie ended up having, the other thing she could do is come out to the song "Fire." Remember the in the Bachelorette party with all the firemen strippers and
yes.
Fire.
Yes.
She had the most fun storylines.
I know. And then she has the porn that comes out, the porn identity.
the porn
so
identity.
that was awkward. Yeah. So
Was it?
there's a lot of fun.
That's so funny.
But Rachel, you'd have to come out as Wonder Woman. Come on.
Yes.
Oh. But Mindy should answer all my questions because she always has the better ideas. I'm just
That's funny. Wonder Woman would be perfect.
yes.
And then my last Bachelor question
yes
about your characters
yes.
is, well, Melinda, if you don't really know some of the Bachelors, it might be tough for you to answer this, but who would you guys pick? Who would your characters pick to be engaged to from Bachelor Nation?
Bachelor Nation. Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. That's a tough one.
It could be from this season. It could be from any season.
I'm trying to think of like favorites of mine.
I know. It's tough.
When Tyler was on Hannah's season, I was like, God, he's really cute. And I feel like Summer would agree. Like that
Okay,
type.
that's fair.
Right? Don't you think?
That's fair.
But I would say
I
Jason
can't-
just because he's obviously the best. But that's me. That's not Summer.
Yeah.
Jason's her fiance, Mindy.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I can't answer for me, but my daughter, who's 21, CG, said, and I'm not going to remember his name. He got the rose in the
I'm not
group
caught up.
date.
Is it Greg? Oh, Michael A?
Michael A. If he doesn't, she said she'll marry him. She's she's ready. If he doesn't, he's the one from Ohio.
Yes, and he is truly the sweetest person I think I've ever met in my life.
Which one is he? Which one is Michael A?
He's the one who they had like their first date where they were like looking at the stars, and he's a widow. He lost his wife and he has a son.
Oh, that story, I was like, oh, my heart. I can't.
He's got such a great personality. So much fun to be around.
He lost his wife
cute.
with a 2-year-old kid. Oh,
yeah.
I can't.
And he's been through so much, and he's got such a positive attitude. And we actually just filmed the Men Tell All. That's why I'm in LA in a hotel right now. And I cried. Like I'm not used to this hosting position where you just ask questions. Like, I'm so emotional. So when he's talking about his story, I just like, Tasha thought I was laughing, but I like actually broke down and cried because his story is just like, he's just such an incredible human being.
Well, he's got some fans in this house because that's the one I picked.
I love that.
Well, tell CG he's available. Dude, CG's old enough to go on The Bachelor, which is terrifying. They have like fucking 21-year-olds, and I'm like, or 22-year-olds, and I'm like, how is anyone at 22 ready to get married?
They're not. They're not ready for the overnight like fame that comes with it, and it's
because shooting is one thing, and then the show airs, and boy, do your DMs light up.
Oh, right? Yeah.
I mean, so much love, so much hate. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
That's actually last question because I could go all day, but when you're out in public while that show was airing, did people get like mad at you for your characters or like love you for I figured
because they feel like they know you. You know how that is, you know, you're on their TVs like every week and they're watching you and they feel like they can say anything, but us, they think we're our characters. You're you. So you know what I mean? But for sure. I mean, Mindy, wouldn't you agree?
I think you guys got it a lot more than I did. I don't know. Julie was definitely disliked. But I don't remember for some reason. I don't know. Sometimes when you shoot in LA and live in LA, it's kind of like people don't care. Or at least it's when you go outside of LA, I think.
I just remember Sammy from Days of Our Lives saying that people would like yell at her on the streets, like get so mad at her.
Now that's a different kind of dip. Back in the day, I did Days of Our Lives, and it was being soap famous is very interesting. That's a whole other, like, it's Tom Cruise and soap opera fame because you're in the living room 5 days a week. So people would definitely say things.
They're very invested in the soap opera world. Yes.
Oh yes, as they are in the Bachelor world.
That's true. It's kind of like a soap opera.
Yeah. I mean,
very much so.
Caitlin, we could keep you all day, obviously. And I know we promised you only a half hour and we've taken 45 minutes of your time. But
that's okay. I could talk to you both all day.
Will you come back on and do like an actual full episode sometime?
Yeah.
Please?
Yeah, because I'm going to continue to watch and now I'm fully in it again. So I would love to come back on. I'm just so grateful that you brought me on for this one.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So appreciate
it. Oh my gosh. Of course. So fun. Thank you guys.
And I would love to see you at some. We have to, keep blossoming this long lost soul friendship. So
yeah, I know. I'm like, this pandemic was just about to like be free, and now I'm like, we have to go back into the Bachelorette bubble. We're hosting the next season,
Woo-hoo!
So I'm like,
congratulations!
Back into the Bachelor bubble. Yeah.
Yes. Wait, the next season? Are you going to do the Bachelor? Or are you doing just all?
They're doing back-to-back Bachelorettes, so Michelle is going to be the next Bachelorette.
That's right, and you guys are starting that soon. That's fun.
Yeah,
is
so
it
exciting.
Is it fun?
Yeah, we're starting filming. It is for us. I mean, it's really hard for the Bachelorette, but it's fun for us.
Good. I'm happy you're having fun. I can't wait to watch.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you guys.
This episode has it all, and not only is it a fan favorite, I gotta tell you, it's almost been after 6 episodes with Oliver, being frustrated, yelling at the screen. All of a sudden, it's like he's gone. It's a breath of fresh air.
Thank God.
It's one of Josh's best scripts.
Yeah, Josh Schwartz wrote this episode. It was directed by Lev L. Spiro.
Yes, it's Valentine's Day, and like I said, we don't have Oliver, the aftermath of Oliver. I thought it was going to hang a little bit more heavily, and and it seems like Sandy and Ryan are the only ones that are really feeling the weight, whereas everyone's trying to go back to normal. And obviously that's
Right.
That's a good thing for television, but
To move on quickly.
to move on quickly.
Yeah.
So we're going to get into this episode, you guys, because Rachel and I both had so much to do, the beginning of some storylines, and we're just going to get into it. Let's start at the beginning, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's start at the beginning.
We both had to watch. Sometimes we should be clear. We do record sometimes out of order, depending on just who's available and our schedules. So Rachel and I both watched episode 18 and 19 together because we wanted to make sure we knew what we were talking about.
And I needed to know why Summer so quickly has sex with Seth when last I saw he was with Anna. There's the story.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So this episode opens, Cohen Kitchen, as it usually does. And it's Valentine's Day, which I thought it was kind of funny that Kirsten loves Valentine's Day. Like, I really wouldn't put her character and this holiday together.
Right. She was in a different mode. In fact, she reminded me of Julie when Julie's really excited about something. All of a sudden, Kirsten, and also it was a great scene for Kelly herself because she's a very strong, powerful actress and woman, and it was really fun to see her just silly and and I think everyone in that family has a different different holiday. So
what do you think Ryan's holiday would be?
See, and that's where it becomes about, what are we? Are we team Sandy here, or are we all team Kirsten? Like, it's romantics versus cynics in this episode between them, right?
Yes. I myself,
what are you?
I'm definitely team Kirsten.
Are you?
I am.
Because I kind of, for most of my life, I've been kind of team Sandy. I find it to be like, if you want to go out to dinner on Valentine's Day, it's a prefix menu and it's like $300 a person. It's like, it's a corporate thing where they get you to spend money, right?
Yes, you're the cynic. I mean, look, I get the Hallmark part of it all, holiday wise, but I'm a romantic at heart. I love, the flowers and all the things and feeling special on Valentine's Day. I think it's sweet because if you make it mean something to you, then you don't have to go along with the commercialism.
Right. And you know what, though? There's nothing worse than a partner who is a cynic to really take the wind out of your sails if you are a romantic. I'm interested to explore the Sandy Kirsten dynamic because they have it feels kind of like a major hiccup, but it's also kind of fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's a lot of things in this episode with relationships and the characters, and one of the more fascinating things for me was, aside from, the Seth and Summer, which we'll get into, but Ryan and Marissa, like you said, coming off the Oliver of it all, and Ryan, isn't willing to just jump right back in with Marissa because I feel like there was such betrayal of trust that it's actually cool to see him honoring himself in that way, where he is not willing to just jump back in because, in the kitchen, it's Valentine's Day. We get to school. There's this dance, right, for Valentine's Day happening in the OC. And Ryan and Marissa at school, Marissa, asks him what he's doing for Valentine's Day, and they both kind of establish they're going to this thing, but they're not going together. And I was like, oh, okay, respect. I respect that.
Totally. In my note, I wrote, I don't know why I said Ben, but I wrote, Ben just looks like an exhausted man here. Right? It's more Ryan. He's been going and going and going. Not only did Marissa not believe him and not trust him, every single person around him didn't trust him, but he still was the good guy.
Except for
Luke, right? Luke was the only one that came. And they're teenagers. It's hard enough for healthy adults to navigate something epic like this happening, and all of a sudden it's just right back to normal, or Marissa wants it back to normal, or everybody wants it back to normal.
Right.
Even Kirsten says that.
Right.
It's hard. And so I think in that moment when he sees Marissa, he probably doesn't know what's going to happen, and the feelings are just not there.
Right.
And my thought was just like, give him some space, give him some time.
Honestly, and I know we've said like Marissa just acted like you wanted to just like shake her a lot throughout the whole Oliver thing, So I'm just like, I don't blame Ryan at all. So that sets up them for this episode, what kind of transpires. And then, we're still at school. Now, Anna has broken up with Seth, and the first thing Seth does is go to Summer like, hey, I'm single now. Like, now do I get my shot? And I did not blame Summer. Her reaction was like, I think her exact quote is, I'm not going to be your sloppy seconds, ass face. And I said, I would have said the same thing verbatim.
Right.
Like, you can't come to me now that Anna's broken up with you and say, okay, I'm ready. And I don't blame her. And I thought she handled that appropriately.
I do too. I wrote language, Summer. And I guess ass face is one of the words we can get away with, which is, that's fine in television.
Yeah.
But do you remember at all, okay, now the storyline is going for the Seth and Summer. Do you remember feeling excited about the storyline?
Oh, for sure. I couldn't wait to see how it would unravel. And I should say that scene in particular, Summer is playing Galaga, which is a classic old arcade stand-up video game. And he comes, and I like how it was all played. And once he like breaks the news, like Summer dies in the game. It's like like it shuts
going
off.
for high score here, Seth.
Yeah. And so that's how the scene was set up. And I was very excited that Seth and Summer were progressing, myself reading the script, and we were finally going to get to it. But I liked that Summer wasn't like, okay, hey, let's jump on board. Because, again, I respect that.
You could see her thinking, though, oh, you've broken up? And then she makes the decision, I'm not going to make it that easy.
No.
No. Because there's a moment where she almost went,
right.
Okay, great.
Of course, she's happy with the news.
Right.
She's very happy that they aren't together anymore, but she doesn't go for it right away, which I really, really liked.
I do too. So today we like Summer, right?
Today we like Summer. I don't always like Summer. Today we like Summer.
Okay. Well, then we get into Kirsten's office, and probably one of the better, I mean, they're all great, but better Sandy Kirsten scenes. And it just goes downhill with each person trying to get what they want and not giving in. And it just starts this terrible downward spiral to the point where I loved Kelly's delivery here. I don't know, but it's not good. Right?
Yeah.
Because Kelly, that's why I think that's the way she can be in real life. Like, you don't want to get into an argument with Kelly.
Right.
But I thought that was, I wrote that even adults act like kids when they don't get their way, because it seems so petty, right?
Right. But that never changes ever in life.
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
But listen, so now we get to see Jimmy we haven't seen him or I guess he wasn't in the last episode, and he's got this box of cookies from the Secret Admirer. But I just want to say, where was Jimmy during the Oliver stuff? Where are Marissa's parents when a gun was held on her? There was.
Yeah. I hear you there. Oliver pulls a gun on Marissa. Where are the parents? I mean, it's probably, a bigger thing to be involved in.
I think everyone was just like, oh, we're relieved to be done with that. Let's move on and not mention it again.
Yeah, let's just pretend that never existed, and we do. But then, okay, so we go to Summer's bedroom in this episode, or Seth goes to Summer's bedroom. And this is the first time we meet Princess Sparkle.
And your first bedroom, right?
I don't know. I'll take your word for it. The first time we see Summer's bedroom, where she says she's studying naked, and
which is a repeat of what Seth said.
Says to Sandy. Right?
No, said it to you when you were coming
to
in.
me.
He thinks he's talking to Kirsten.
Right. But yeah, so it's the first time that Seth comes to Summer's room, and we meet Princess Sparkle, which is a big deal.
The first mention of the Valley.
Of the Valley, Summer's favorite TV show.
Right.
You're right. And Seth comes to Summer's room. She's in her yellow, juicy suit, matching outfit. But I really loved this scene because, so she turns Seth down when he first comes with the news that Anna and him broke up. But he delivers this speech to Summer. And I fell for it too, watching. Like,
oh, me too.
Oh, I was like, okay, all in. I would have taken your clothes off immediately too, because that was but it was so genuine. And I thought Adam did an awesome job with, this scene. And I really reacted to it as Summer did watching it, because he said it's always been Summer.
He was very specific. And I think this is where, if you compare Teenage Boys to Seth, this is where it's original. I don't feel like a real teenager would say, but Summer, it's not that you're sloppy seconds. It's that it's always been you. That is laying it out. That's
Absolutely.
Putting his heart out there.
That's maturity. Right? I would agree with you. No, most teenage boys don't show up with professing love in such a manner. And it was very sweet. And I was on board.
Extremely sweet. So much so that you push him down.
Oh yeah.
Put him down and
take off the top.
Take it off.
Oh yeah. Show him.
And then we have this iconic
song,
musical number.
Hello Sunshine.
Hello Sunshine.
So
Hello,
perhaps
Sunshine.
Maybe that's the nickname for my boobs. Sunshine. Just
Well, I reached out to Matt Ramsey, who edited this episode, and just asked him what he remembers, because when we went back and forth, and we'll talk about a couple other things, but he did make a point of saying the Hello Sunshine, and this might be between he and Josh, I don't know, but he said the Hello Sunshine, which plays every time Summer and Seth have sex, was my idea. Oh,
Josh Schwartz claims it was his idea.
Right. He said in a previous episode, Norman had used the Dandy Warhol song. We used to be friends as a theme, and we thought that was cool, a new way to use songs. So throughout the series, there are episodes where a song plays as a theme for a specific storyline.
Well, I wonder, did he mean that the doing it as a theme was his idea, or the song itself?
I don't know. He said using Hello Sunshine as their sex theme was my first attempt at it. I hope the use of that song wasn't hope the use of that song in that way wasn't offensive. I was pretty immature back then and was channeling my inner teenage boy.
No, I took it as a compliment. My boobs are now called Sunshine, so thank you. I think that Josh probably picked the song, and maybe it was Matt's idea to reuse it.
That's what he might be saying.
Yeah. We'll say that. But yeah, it was great. It was hilarious. The whole sex scene. I love how true it was to people's first times, which we learned later that it was Summer's first time as well. But that, as a teenager, your first time having sex, it's never going to be amazing. I'm sorry.
I think it's not important. Yeah. How many kids are like that? Although I think a lot of people, their first time, fake it. Oh my God, that was so great. I don't know that they're automatically.
I don't know that I pride myself on being pretty honest, and I have never faked anything.
That says a lot about us.
It does.
Faker.
But yeah, it was awkward, and I loved that. I loved that it showed how awkward and how they both were kind of like, let's not ever talk about that again, and let's move on.
But then you guys are when you're in the post-sex, post-coital, I think Matt seemed to think that you and Adam came up with you taking the sheet and him covering himself up, which was really funny. Do you remember that? He didn't think it was scripted.
But I would say it was a Brody thing, if anything.
Okay.
That would be my guess. And he takes the pillow to cover himself.
Yeah.
Yes. It's pretty good. It is pretty good. But, another big thing that happens, which we are going to start to unravel, is when Luke shows up on your doorstep. Hello. And he asks if you're going to the Valentine's Day party. And he also offers you a ride to the party. A ride. Emphasis on ride. Sorry. It's a sexist. How the hell do you say that? A
what?
Like a sex episode is a sex.
Oh, sex. I don't know.
Anyways, yes. So now here we are with this presented, the Luke and Julie. Right. So Mindy, talk to us about that a little bit. How was that for you?
Well, this episode, and by the way, this is one of the reasons Rachel and I are doing this on our own, because I remember so much about this episode, and we have so much to do in this episode. And this was the beginning of getting really excited about the storylines. Sorry, my puppy's barking. Can you hear that? Okay. I was so excited for this storyline, and it was obvious that the writers were starting to write for both of our characters. And in that particular scene, it's Julie kind of looking at him with this, interest, like, what are you doing here? What's going on? And just being kind of intrigued. But still, I was actually kind of surprised that Julie was actually kind of being mature and at the same time being flattered underneath. Whereas later on, she's got a bit of wine in her and she becomes a little questionable. But I do remember that Chris and I were both really excited about the storyline.
That's fun.
And I watched it with CG, and because she's gone on record as saying how it was uncomfortable for her to either imagine it or see it. So I looked over at her and I said, "What do you think about this? Is this cringy?" And she goes, "No, I think it's kind of sweet and funny." Oh. She's clearly flattered. That was CG's response. Yeah,
well, that's cute. The approval from your daughter.
Right.
So, also, what happens is Marissa shows up at the pool house and aggressively makes out with Ryan, trying to get him to have sex. And once again, Ryan is not down. He is not willing to just sweep the shit under the floor, the shit being Oliver, and go for it. And I like it. But it's rejection. Rejection is always hard.
That is such rejection. And once again, showing a 16-year-old not knowing how to handle and just saying, can we go back to normal? And just give him some time. And in this sense, it just reminds me that Ryan, in so many ways, is way more mature than Marissa is, right? That he's like, it's just not okay. And I can't fake it. There's something off. These kids need therapy, serious therapy right now after something like that, like a PTSD with all of the Oliver stuff. I mean, this has been going on since Christmas,
Yeah.
6 episodes. So
yeah,
it's been, and everybody's just going back to normal once again.
Right. As we do on television.
But then we have one of another very funny original scenes with Seth entering the next morning and ecstatic that he has had
sex, if you can call it that.
And then he admits that it was so bad. It was like fish flopping around on dry land.
Fish sex. And doesn't he say like Nemo, he wants to find his way home or something?
I was like Nemo and I just want to get home.
Yeah.
And yeah, my question for Josh was, do teen boys talk like this? Have you ever had a conversation like this? But I found myself just grinning.
I don't think Josh has had a lot of experience talking to teen boys about sex, would be my guess. But I think it was maybe questions he had himself.
But I love, Ryan's response is, my advice is just do it again,
Right. And then Seth. Anytime I'm going to say Summer, I automatically put Seth in front of it. Summer and Marissa are at the beach, and they're both fronting, not telling the truth about what's really happening with Ryan and Seth. And then they do, and realize that the sex sucked, and Ryan wouldn't have sex with Marissa. But I like that they get to the honest part. That's very typical of teenagers to front like everything's okay or whatever. But then they were honest. And I liked that.
Sandy and Kirsten still aren't letting up, which is still funny that they want to hold on to it. I think at some point, and I think that, I don't know, Sandy's holding on to something, and I don't know why he's being such a toughie. The way he eats his meat he's just being kind of like he's posturing and kind of arrogant, but it's almost like they're having fun, or he's teasing her, but he's not letting go, because men can still be boys. But in the Cohen kitchen, Sandy asks, okay, here we come. Sorry, let's go back.
Yes.
So Seth goes to Sandy and says that he needs to have the talk. The kid asking that dad to have the talk, and Sandy looks terrified, and he says, now?
Right. Well, doesn't Sandy tell Seth about foreplay?
Well, then that leads into that scene that is, to me, one of my mom. I remember her saying this way back in 2004. I just love Sandy and Seth. They have the best conversations, and it is the most awkward talking and explaining what foreplay is. It's just brilliantly written, brilliantly acted, and it's such an original moment, and it just goes from awkward to more awkward.
Totally, which plays over into the scene where Seth is like, let's try this again, right? So they want to have another go at fish sex. And when they do, so Josh told me he really wanted, it's like a When Harry Met Sally was kind of the vibe. Even Annie Hall, I think he mentioned. But like When Harry Met Sally was the vibe for it. And it's so funny because it's so awkward what Seth does with Summer. He's like blowing in her ear and like rubbing her shoulders really hard and just being so weird. And you're like, that's not foreplay, dude.
No, because he did exactly what Sandy said. He was like, massage, nibble the neck. Oh,
right.
Anyway, because he couldn't be more
couldn't
detailed.
Say, go downtown, my friend.
Right. Let's be true. Yeah.
Yeah, we had to keep it, PG, so to speak. But it's so awful. And once again, they have not a great experience.
Right.
Hello, sunshine. They come out once again and scene.
Whatever you say, Summer. Okay.
Yeah, whatever you say, Summer. It's pretty cute, but still they are not getting it. And super awkward. But then, so we have this singles dance that we talked about before. And I remember actually shooting this at a place downtown. It's a really old building that was so beautiful on the inside. Do you remember this place?
I have a huge affection for this building. It's a historic art or deco building from the beginning of the 20th century, the Oviatt building, I believe it's called. And many films and TV, I've eaten there. And I've shot there for a few different shows. Like movies like Bruce Almighty have been there.
Okay.
In fact, it was started by Bernie Taupin and his wife.
Oh.
Cicada, the restaurant.
Who's that? Who's that?
He's the lyricist for Elton John.
Oh, wow. Well, that's cool.
I just happened to know that little trivia.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah, it was a super beautiful old historical building. And I do remember filming it there. And this is where Teresa shows up in this episode, Ryan's ex-girlfriend from Chino. And I have to say, I was happy to see her after everything Marissa just put him through.
Right.
I was Team Teresa watching this. I was like, you know what? I like it, and I don't blame him for hanging out with her.
Right. And then when they're sitting together and Ryan has clearly just told her about the Oliver situation,
yeah,
it's the first person that seems to have a voice of reason, and he's going back to the familiar with her. And you can just see how truly hurt he really is by everyone, and just not knowing how to process that stuff and move forward.
Yeah.
So obviously it's there to now show that he definitely might not want to continue this relationship, or he's questioning everything with Marissa.
Absolutely.
Right?
And Marissa's jealous too. She knows Teresa's here now and she's feeling it. And I think it was the perfect moment for Teresa to show up. And they talk about it. I mean, Marissa shows or talks to Summer at the party about Teresa, how she's beautiful, smart, so it's very apparent that she is feeling threatened. And Ryan is still turning Marissa down.
Right. I think the audience, I kept thinking, because I didn't remember every moment of it, but I kept thinking, he keeps giving her some hope. And finally, by the time they're actually at the dance, he just says, I can't do it. Like, he's tried the entire episode for a couple days, and he's just made that decision. And then, of course, then she's tearful. And after Sandy's already said to the boys, don't ever get married, which is, you know. But then he turns around and, the voice of Sandy, the reason of his best advice, the speech about love. It's true. When things get really hard, you've just got to hang in there. And Kirsten overhears it, of course, and gives Marissa some hope. Right. And I think Kirsten has one of the best lines, actually. She says, you make it so hard to hate you, but sometimes you make it easy to hate you. Yeah. And that kind of defines marriage and relationships.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So Seth and Summer talk, and you can see the wheels turning with Summer when they have the conversation. And what does Seth say? Where is this? Seth?
He said, Seth tells Summer it's not working and that it's his fault.
Right.
I'm just going to bow out.
Yeah.
Which is so...
It's so sad. And I'm like, Summer, stop him. What is wrong with you?
Right.
Yeah, but the wheels are turning. Also, we didn't mention that Julie, Caleb, Kirsten or breaks up with you.
Well, yes. That was the episode before that Caleb has Kirsten break up.
Oh, that was Julie. Episode before. See? God damn it. I can't watch two at once. Okay.
But yeah, so you know what? This goes to, it's an interesting thing. I can look at episodes now and say, there were some epic scenes for your character, my character, but for some reason on this episode, I went, I actually only have like 3 scenes, which means I only probably worked 2 days on that episode.
Oh, wow.
Because, and of course the kids probably worked 8 days.
Right.
But yes, so our first mention of Bob Seger is Julie saying that she's just going to go home and drink a bottle of wine and listen to Bob Seger. And Luke clocks her leaving.
Yes, he does. Which leads to... We're just going to keep...
Well...
Yeah. Well...
There's so much that goes into this this little speech right here. When I read it in the script, I was excited.
Yeah.
And Chris and I were so excited. Everyone was so excited. We shot it. My hair was all pretty and I'm in the pink.
Oh, your hair was so pretty and your hot pink robe.
Do you know what the first thing I thought though, Rachel?
What?
I remember I woke up that morning, if this has ever happened to you, with a big pimple on my chin. And I could see it.
Oh,
and it's still there.
Oh, you noticed it. Yeah, of course.
I remember it being bummed. I was so excited about the scene. And then obviously it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, but I remembered that.
The dreaded pimple.
But this scene, you guys, has created, there's a lot of backstory and ultimately the speech of Chris saying, you're a great girl. He's too, Mr. Nickel is too old to know what he's got. Whenever we played Ultimatum, you always won. What's that? What, if you could do whatever, Mom, you always won. I beat Kirsten. And the end of that speech, he said, Mrs. Cooper, you're a total MILF. I just thought you should know. And then she drinks her wine and pulls him in for a kiss.
While Night Moves is playing.
Right. And Night Moves. And by the way, it was the most expensive song for the first season.
Oh, was it really to get Bob Seger Night Moves?
Yeah. So it got in the script, the network approves it, right? And then they even put the episode together. And ultimately the network made us cut out your total MILF, right? It had got past the standards and practices in the script, even the first cut, it got passed. And then all of a sudden, 2 days before it aired, they made us cut it out. I actually remember at a party talking to one of the standards and practices guys, and because Josh had told me the story of them.
What's a standard and practices guy?
It's the censors. It's
it.
broadcast standards and practices where they approve everything. And this was this is post Janet Jackson, right around that time.
Right. Okay. Censorship.
So apparently, I remember Josh telling me that they called and said this MILF word. And he said, "What, mother I'd like to fool around with?" And they said, "No, we think it's something else." And this guy told me, standards and practices, gentlemen, he told me that they actually did a group study or got a group of people together and asked them what they thought it meant.
Yeah.
And sure enough, they said, "Mother, I'd like to fuck." And they found out about it and they cut it out.
Mother, I'd like to fondle. Hello. Right. Mother, I'd like to finger. I mean, there's a lot of ways to go with that. Oh my God.
So it was cut out. But at the time, I remember Norman Buckley, Matt was the editor on this, but Norman worked on it as well. And I remember getting called into the editor's room with Josh and a bunch of people, and we sat and watched that scene, and we all thought it was the greatest scene, and we were just like, we were beyond. We thought it was so cute.
It was. It's so good. And I love, by the way, Melinda, when you're leaving the scene and you like look up to the Cohen's house to make sure no one's looking as you close the door. I was like, that was a nice little touch you had there because we were on a soundstage.
I thought it was, and this is the thing, I've seen or read people talk about it being illegal and cringy or whatever emotions it elicits from somebody. But looking at it with this new pair of eyes, I saw all of a sudden this kind of buzzed little teenage girl who just loved the attention because he was saying everything she wanted to hear.
Well, do you think they could get away with that now because he's technically a high schooler and it's an underage thing? I mean, I wonder if that could be written
I don't know.
now.
It'd be like a Law and Order type of show.
Right.
Because in Desperate Housewives started right about the same time or a year after, and they were doing storylines like that. And then we added the,
I don't know.
you're 18.
It's a question for whatever. I'm not exactly sure. But you looked so good. Your hair was so cute. I just wanted to tell you I loved everything about you in that scene. You know what I also loved? So, Sandy's been against the holiday and everything else, but when they come home, he has the room fully decorated for Valentine's Day, the roses, the candles, the chocolates. And I was like, that a boy, Sandy. I felt so happy and proud, and it was so cute. I just thought,
I did a big awe.
Yeah, it was a definite awe moment. And I loved that they did that because when it comes down to it, who gives a shit what you think? It's what your wife wants, dude. Like, happy wife, happy life. Am I right?
No, and Kelly did such a great job of being so excited.
Yeah.
Because some people would say, sorry, you're saying sorry to me? I'm not over it.
Right. Right.
But she went ahead and said, thank you so much.
Yeah. So, and then, obviously I love the scene where Summer now shows up to Seth's room to come clean. That she was also a virgin when they first had sex. And now this is a huge surprise to Seth. But I love how Seth is like, let's start, from the beginning, so to speak. And it's just so sweet. And it's the first time you really see this like tenderness. Well, not the first time, because when he gave the speech to her earlier in the episode, but it's such a tender moment with them. And he plays Ryan Adams' Wonderwall, which is so it was a big moment and a big song when it happened.
I think you're underplaying how big. I was waiting for you to finish because this moment is actually huge for so many young ladies and boys maybe, but how it just melts people's hearts. And he does, and how many kids actually, you guys have this conversation about, guess what? I was a virgin, and how many kids went, oh my gosh, that's what happened to me, and I wish I could have had this conversation.
Yeah.
Or
okay.
you did this. It was just this original. I don't feel like it had been portrayed, and I could be wrong, but I'm biased, so I love it, and I know that this was such an epic moment with this song Wonderwall, and it was absolutely just heart-melting.
You know what? I will say it's really sweet and shows how close they are, because dancing like that, like, it's awkward. You know, someone's like, let's dance. You're like, what? Mm-hmm. But it's not with them, and it's so sweet, and they're so close, and they're really in the moment, and I did think it was super sweet. Really, really sweet.
Well, and also I think here's something that, diving deeper into it, sex is such a big deal to a young person.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's sex. When ultimately what they're learning early on, Seth and Summer, is that it's not all about the physical. In fact, the deeper connection of just being with someone, or just the simple act of dancing, can be just as meaningful. Although I have to say, Sandy's line of, the appetizers can be just as good as the main course.
True. Mindy, what about, I mean, I don't know if you feel comfortable talking about like your first time or anything, but I mean, I can. If you want to go there.
It was like super awkward. Oh, and here's the other thing, that what she says, it should have been special.
Yeah.
What Summer says, it should have been special, or it should have been planned. I think that's kind of a luxury. And in my situation, it wasn't special. It wasn't like, but you learn. I think it's important to move on from that. Okay, it wasn't so special, but I'm going to make it special in the future. It's not like you missed out on anything. But
I don't think the first time is ever special, so to speak. You know, I lost my virginity very young to my older brother's best friend. Mm-hmm.
Oh gosh.
I'm just gonna leave that there. And you know, I was so young, and you don't know. Although I did know that it should last a little longer. And I think Summer feels the same about Seth, so there's the parallel there.
Right.
Oh Lord.
Boy.
Yeah, you know, first times are never all they're cracked out to be. Okay, on that note, let's go to Ryan and Marissa in the pool house, shall we? Yes.
Everyone is now, these, you know, Luke and Julie are having some fun. Seth and Summer are in a different, more positive place. And Kirsten and Sandy, of course, are back together. And unfortunately, our doomed couple, Marissa, shows up to the pool house and says,
Where is she? Where is she? She's like,
take Sandy's advice.
Yes, take Sandy's advice. And she goes and she wants to know where Teresa is. She's convinced she's there, and she's not. And Marissa's like, I'm not giving up on you, Ryan. And Ryan isn't so sure they should be together. Now, this is so heartbreaking. You know, you see Marissa's heartbreak. She loves Ryan. And Ryan, he says something, and it really got me, and it's about the trust thing, right? Like, where he's like, you didn't trust me. And it's true. And that's such a big thing. And I'm so on Team Ryan, obviously. I have been the whole time, and I think a lot of our audience as well. But yeah, he's just like, but you didn't trust me. And it's like so real.
But I think he was, and when trust is lost, that's a big deal. It's hard to regain it, but it cannot be fixed in one day.
Yeah.
If they're meant to be together, it's a slow process.
Absolutely. To rebuild that trust is a big deal.
Well, and I think this was a question for Josh. I don't think Marissa and Ryan ever truly get over this, even though they come back together. They
have a lot. They face a lot. Let's be honest, Ryan and Marissa. So, yeah, I'm on Team Ryan, and it's heartbreaking, but I fully stand behind him on this one. There were so many things with the couples in this episode, and I mean, you and Luke. I'm saying a couple, because you know. And
getting some.
You got to get yours, you know. And
but I think, this episode, it just feels like I said before, after the Oliver stuff, everybody's back in. It's a super satisfying. It makes you laugh, cry, you know, feel like you're in it, and it's just one of the most satisfying OC episodes of all. And I think it's a favorite of quite a few people, including mine, even though I only had like 3 scenes. Which is
Me too. I loved it. I loved rewatching it and everything that happened in it. And I can't wait to watch the next one and see what happens. So Josh left me a voice memo about this episode with some fun facts, and I would like to share it with you guys.
All right. I'm not really good at doing voice memos, but I'll do it for the podcast. But I love this episode, and one of my favorites. And I would say that one of the things I'd like to highlight in discussing this episode on a voice memo, which is basically like talking into the void, is the music. And there's 3 song choices in particular that I enjoyed at the time, still really enjoy. One is Super Furry Animals, Hello Sunshine, which was just a song that I loved prior to the episode, wrote it into the script that we wanted something kind of euphoric and revelatory every time Seth and Summer had sex, however awkward it was. And Hello Sunshine seemed to really bring it home. Night Moves by Bob Seger. I mean, just Julie Cooper just screams Bob Seger. I don't know what to tell you. And what's a sexier song than Night Moves? And what just feels like it plays more into this MILF mom sleeping with her daughter's ex-boyfriend, hunky water polo player than some Bob Seger Night Moves. And it kind of tells you everything you need to know about Julie Cooper. And then finally, the Ryan Adams cover of Wonderwall at the end of the episode, which was just a really stark and beautiful cover. And Alex Fitzavis had sent it to us on one of her comps that she would send, and I would listen to these comps, and they were on CDs back then, and just kind of earmark songs for future possible uses. And it just felt like Wonderwall was this really devastating, heartbreaking way to end an episode called The Heartbreak. So wish I could talk more about this episode. Look forward to being back on the pod. You guys are doing a great job. Talk to you later.
Well, that was great. We're sorry he couldn't join us for some circumstances, but so we talked about how important this music was in this episode, and Matt seems to think that it was his idea. Maybe it was the editing idea, but I think the fact that Josh wrote it into the script kind of trumps Matt's memory of feeling like he had responsibility for the music. I think it was Josh's idea. Sorry, Matt. But everybody wants to take credit.
Yes. Yeah. They should, because there were really good song choices.
Absolutely. What a great episode. Thank you, Josh Schwartz.
Thank you, Josh Schwartz. Our lovely producer Diana is going to quiz us, and I will fail miserably, but let's try.
I mean, I know you watched the episode, so I think you can do it.
Okay.
We'll see. Okay. I was just going to call you Summer. Rachel, when you are playing Summer and you're watching The Valley, do you know what line we overhear from the show?
Not a clue.
It's a quotable one.
It's a what? A quotable one?
It's a quotable. Yeah.
No, because she probably. Do you know?
No, you know what? I watch with subtitles because I miss things, and I'm not remembering.
We overhear the line, I just don't feel like I fit here in Tarzana.
That's a good one. I like it. I don't remember it, but I like it.
Okay, Melinda. When Seth asks Ryan the first time for sex advice, what quick advice does Ryan give him?
To do it again?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's
I said that.
Well, Mindy wins. Well done. Well done.
I got one more for you. One more for you, Rachel. When Sandy and Kirsten get in an argument in this episode, there's 2 things that Sandy likes to do that he mentions that Kirsten will never do with him. Can I do what they are? They're very, very male activities, not to be
sexist. I know he says it. I can't think of them right now. Melinda.
Surfing and golf.
Yes.
And literally, my husband said, what do I have to do to get you in the ocean? And I just went in the ocean 2 days ago.
I saw. You proved it. You posted a hot little picture. Of you in the ocean.
Mm-hmm, a hot little IG picture.
That's right.
CG convinced me to take a picture.
CG's good for that. She's your Instagram manager.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, surfing. She should go surfing with them.
Yeah. One more, Melinda.
Oh.
This is a Julie question. So the first time Luke shows up at Julie's door, what's his excuse why he's there?
Marissa's book of some sort. It's biology or science or something.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, I get it. It's not a very strong excuse. Come up with a better one. Julie Cooper could teach you a thing or two.
And she does.
Oh, boy. Yeah, these
right.
episodes coming up are going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah. Can't wait to get there. All right. Well, this was so much fun. A lot of sex talk.
A sexual episode. But
I know.
I think it was a learning experience for all.
Clearly for Seth and Summer. That's for sure.
And for Luke.
Oh, yes. You're going to teach him many things, Miss Julie Cooper.
Yeah.
Well, thank you everyone so much for listening. Follow, rate, and review Welcome to the OC Bitches wherever you listen to your podcasts. If you like to watch us, check it out on YouTube.